This is Uncle from tacticalgamer.com. This is the Arma 3 editor tutorial 5. This one we're going to make a little more complex the objective 2 trigger, and then we're going to create a mission briefing so players know where to go, place the markers on the map. Start to add the polish to our mission and add in some more patrols. At least we're going to show you how easily that part is done. When you create a mission, this is the way you want to do it, which is to create your objectives, make sure that those triggers fire and that all of those functions work, that you can get to the completion of the mission and the functions work, and then you add your enemies and your patrols and that sort of thing you're trying to encounter last, just because it's so much easier to do that. Because if you are trying to test your triggers and all your end conditions while you have to fight all the enemies every time you play test it, it's a real pain in the neck, and it's going to take a long time. So you can see here what I did is I added a few more riflemen to my initial patrol here. So I'm just going to delete them. You delete things just by putting your cursor over top of them and pressing the delete button. So what I did is I just selected my unit selection tool, came in close to that group, put OPFOR rifleman down, and there we go. And because it's close, it automatically put them in the group. That's all I had done. There we go. I've beefed up that patrol. Now the thing about this trigger that we used last time is that this trigger is going to detect within 500 meters if any OPFOR are not present, then the trigger is true, which then means that this patrol has been killed. But I want to place a lot of different enemies, like ones and twosies around here, patrolling around, because I want the mission to be that you have to get in stealth past these guys to get to these guys. If you are detected by anybody else on the way in, they're going to call in some reinforcements. While they don't have vehicles at an airbase, I'm going to suspend my belief or disbelief for the purposes of this demonstration. So I'm just going to make the mission very simple, that there's a very light patrol for some reason around this prototype helicopter. And as soon as we get detected on there, they've got reinforcements over here at the marina that they're going to send in. But that will be the next tutorial after that. So that's our premise. So what I need to do is be able to change this trigger so it doesn't detect any OPFOR present within here, because I want to be able to get past the guys on the perimeter. So what I'm going to do, hit the group tool. Alright, I'm going to group it to a member of this target group that we need to destroy this enemy patrol. When I double click on my trigger again now, you'll see that it's activated by the vehicle, which means that this trigger will now fire if this unit is not within the 500 meter area. These guys, doesn't matter if they're there or not now, but I can have a drop down box. I can say, okay, as long as the group leader's not there, then these guys will surrender. There you go. Or I can say, if any group member is not in this area, or if the whole group is not in the area. So that's what I want. I want the whole group to be killed. That's the only way they will not be in that 500 meter radius. And then we've completed the objective 2, which is destroy the patrol around that helicopter. Very simple. So now I can be adding in all sorts of enemies, and it doesn't matter if I kill them or not, because they are not going to be affected, or they are not going to affect this trigger for objective 2. So very quickly I can add in another OPFOR sentry team. I can give them some waypoints very quickly. Have these guys do a little patrol. There we go. Very, very simple patrol. Now, so killing these guys will not affect the trigger. The only thing I can do is kill these ones over here, then that fires off that objective 2 is complete. Destroy the helicopter, mission completes. Obviously these guys are not going to start in this area. So I'm going to use my unit selection tool, grab them, drag them out somewhere where it's easier for me to grab a hold of. And as you can see, I've created an insertion point over here. I'll get to that in a minute. Alright, now we need a couple of markers. Actually, which I've already created. So let me just delete that. Alright. Now, I want some markers on the map so everybody knows where to go, where you're starting and where you got to get to. And we're going to use these markers within the briefing as well. Alright, so I can select the marker tool, which is this. It looks like a little X that you see on the maps all the time. Alright, I'm just going to double click on the map. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to call this one Objectives. It's going to mark where our Objectives is. Okay, and we're going to call the objective golf. This is the text that's going to show up right beside the marker on the map. The marker on the map will be an objective marker, and I'm going to make it red. Alright, that's it. I'm going to put that somewhere near the helicopter. It indicates now our objectives are the patrol and the helicopter right there. Now I'm going to create another marker over here for the insertion point. I'm going to call it insertion and label it insertion on the map. Use a start marker, blue, bam, there we go. If you're interested, you can also shift, or like I left click on this and do the shift, and I can change the orientation of that marker by turning it around and then letting go. Okay, so there we go. We've got an insertion marker named insertion, and now what I'm going to do is add the mission briefing stuff. I've got some already pre-made, but I'm going to show you how you make it from scratch. Let's say I want to make, I click on the module tool now here. We're going to add the diary records that you see when you open up the mission briefing. By going to, I double click, I'm going to add an Intel module. It's going to be create diary record. Okay, there are preset titles. Alright. Let's say I want to put down the situation. You can make a custom one as well. Okay, if you use the presets, you don't need to put in a title because the title will just be situation. If I use no preset, then I could say credits, let's say. Something like that. Now, I'm just going to show you quickly here how you can add links as well. So when you're looking at the briefing, you can click on the map and see insertion points. Let's say if I go back to this and say execution, let's say description, move from the insertion point. I'm capitalizing it because I'm going to make it a hyperlink to so when you see this text and it links to those objectives, the way I do that is by using those markers that were on the map. I'm going to put in some code in here around the word insertion point to make it a hyperlink. And the code is marker name equals, and that objective marker, objective golf, I called it objectives. In the middle of this is the text that I want to be the hyperlink, and then I just end that marker code with the / marker. And the actual code bits, of course, are in between greater than and less than signs. I could do the same thing for objective golf. Marker name equals insertion. And end the marker. Actually, I'm going to make this a custom. Just for the purpose of that. Now, what I need to do in order for these players to see it is use the link tool, which is the synchronization tool, and link it to any group that needs to be able to see this when the mission starts. I can quickly double click on these ones I've already created. I created a situation. OPFOR have a prototype helicopter that may jam our electronic detection. Alright, that's one of the mission briefing things. The next one is the mission is to destroy the patrol guarding the helicopter, and then destroy the helicopter at marker, at the objective golf marker, and it's a hyperlink. And then execution, I said you are, and then I have inserted here as a hyperlink to the insertion point, southeast of the airfield, infiltrate the airfield, make your way to marker golf, objective golf with stealth. Alright, so in order to make these work, I have to synchronize them to any player in that group. And there we go. If I have a second group of Blue 4 players, that then I would need to synchronize these with those players as well in order for them to see the briefing, and we'll see that in the next tutorial. Alright, let's get into the mission and see how it looks. Now I see my insertion point, I see objective golf, I click on the briefing, and I see the situation. I have execution where it says I've inserted southeast of the airfield. Click on that and it takes me to there. Click on objective golf. And I missed something. I didn't name objective golf with the same name, so the link's not working. Yeah. So I messed up my names. Check my marker names. That one seemed to work. It was plural. Yeah. Hello. Well, here you go. Here's troubleshooting. How did I sitting here thinking about talking instead of thinking about what I'm doing? There we go. Now it would work. Now objective golf works and the insertion point works. There we go. And that's how you get it. Your markers down, your mission briefing. This is Uncle from tacticalgamer.com. This was the Arma 3 editor tutorial 5. Next one we're going to start adding in some more enemies. See you then.